Hey guys, what's going on? Jake here at NixTrainz, and today we have a video that is hopefully going to put a lot of you guys in a good mood. I noticed several months ago, several of you were asking for me to do a review of a certain model you saw sitting on my layout, and at that point in time, it was just a pure basic DCC ready, no sound steam engine, and I wanted to put a bunch of work into it and make it look as good as I could possibly make it for the model that it is. So this model is actually the Red Box Rivarossi FEF-3. It is the, of course, like everyone else in the world who wants one, it is number 844. With, of course, my own flair to it, and now granted it's had some, I guess you could say, serious modifications done to it to make it run well, which of course I'm going to show you guys, but yeah, it was a big undertaking, especially for someone who had never worked on a steam engine before. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dig into this and see what you guys think. Alright, so as you can see, we have the absolutely massive red box here. It's, as I said, Rivarossi. And right here, there's the number with a steam locomotive Union Pacific number 844 FEF. Alright, so once we open it up, these are the three pieces of paper that you're going to find. You're going to find your warranty information here. Here is the parts, numbers, and everything for the engine, which this really means nothing anymore because Rivarossi doesn't exist and Hornby doesn't supply any parts. And then here is instructions of how to open it and take care of the model. It's all pretty easy. They show you how to take the shell and everything off. So that, I mean, in terms of adding DCC and stuff, that was a huge help. Alright, so once you have the foam insert removed, as well as the instructions and warranty papers and everything, this is pretty much everything you're going to find. Obviously, my box is empty because my engine is out already, and I'm still kind of holding that back from you guys. So up here is where obviously your steam engine is going to be. Here's where your tender is going to be. This is where your parts are going to be. So mine actually came with this little holder here. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% positive if they all will come with it or not. But this is where my DCC ready 8-pin plug is stored. And then here is a little baggie with another set of drivers with the gear on it. This is the non-flanged side, or driver, I guess I should say, for traction tires. So this one has no traction tires. The one that is on the engine should have traction tires, but there are no traction tires anymore. And of course, I can't find any from Rivarossi / Hornby. And then this right here are little wire bars that go on the back side of the cab that I literally just now realized as I shockingly read the instructions. So these will probably end up going on at a later date. And then this is a nice fancy piece of parchment that gives you some information about the FEF-3s made for Union Pacific. So let's go ahead and finally show you guys the engine. All right, so here we finally have the engine of the day. This is, of course, like I've been saying, the Rivarossi 844 FEF-3, and given it is a Rivarossi, it does have the Mars light. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on here with this smoke deflector. It's been warping out. I've tried to fix it, but it really won't. So as you can see, I do have the engine and the tender separated. That is for a good reason. But this is also the factory tender as it should be. It is an oil tender. This one has a plastic coupler on it, but I do believe it actually came with a horn hook coupler. It's been so long, I can't remember. I think I did put that in instead of the horn hook. And then you got a little bit of detail here. I'm not really going to show it off because of the fact that this tender really doesn't mean a whole lot. And then this also comes with a factory 3-pin plug that goes right here. See if I can actually get it to focus here. There we go. You can kind of see that detail up here. But there's a 3-pin plug that does normally go there, and then I have that notched out from when I had my, I think it's a 9-pin from Soundtracks installed. You can actually see this tender's been sitting for a bit because it's actually kind of dirty and dusty, so I do apologize for that. But one thing to point out, this does not come factory painted. I actually painted this myself. The nice thing is this all comes apart, and I'll show more detail of it once I get this on the track, because you'll actually be able to see in there. It is all plastic all the way around. It is a giant weight all in here that gives it its everything. The details on it, you know, it's a Rivarossi, so the details aren't, you know, MTH quality, which, yes, I know MTH never made these, but it's not Athearn quality, it's not Broadway Limited quality, but you also don't have to pay that Athearn Broadway Limited price tag. It also does not smoke, but, you know, for the hobbyist that is trying to stay budget friendly, this is a really good model. It's also a really good model to start out with for adding DCC and stuff like that. Some things that are a bit of a letdown, the number boards are completely solid. So yeah, I could go and drill them out and run LEDs in and then make new number boards. But I didn't feel that was necessary. And then the marker lights are also molded in, so I didn't really worry about those. Number boards down here also do not light up, but the Mars light is separated from the headlight, even from the factory. It does come with a brass bell, and the front pilot does swing open to reveal a dummy plug, or not a dummy plug, I'm sorry, a dummy coupler. All the piping and everything that is on here is metal. This is removable, which I actually have it glued in so it doesn't remove, because this is actually where the DCC ready plug is located. So as you can tell, that is the reason why it's tight to get any sort of a decoder in there. So kind of, once again, as you can tell, you know, given it is a cheaper model, the smoke deflector is sadly bowing out. But I know, I'm sorry, I'm moving this around a lot. But the running gear detail is pretty decent. This is your main driver, and it does have, like I said, the flange for a traction tire. I'm still seeing if I can find a traction tire that will fit this. I'm sure Athearn or Broadway Limited will probably have some. I probably should be reaching out to them. And then the front pilot is just standard wheels. There's nothing fancy about them. I could go and paint these and everything, but I'm not really too worried about it. Let's see here, what else? The tender, let's go ahead with this. The tender also, all this is metal piping here. Like I did say, this is the oil version. My biggest complaint with this, and actually the reason why I no longer use this, is the wheels themselves. So I don't know if you'll really be able to see it or not, but now granted, yes, it does pick up power from all of these, which is great. There's a giant weight in here, and that weight is charged through these metal strips here, and that's what actually powers the reverse light that was factory in here. But the issue with it is these wheels right here do not always want to sit on the track. So with that being said, it doesn't track well going forward, and especially in reverse. It hates switches, and that's why I actually upgraded. The real shame is, like, I actually went and I put a new LED light in here. I actually even drilled this out and put a red LED in here, but you know, I wanted to upgrade to something bigger and better, and I went with a Athearn tender. So now, sadly, it's used, so it does have some minor damage. Yes, I'm going to be fixing it. One blatantly obvious issue with this tender is the fact that it's actually a cool tender. It was off of a Challenger, and I decided to take the numbering off of it, and it is eventually going to get a 844 put back here, as well as the water height level sight glass on the back, and then this is probably all going to get repainted. I once again did the same thing, red LED here and a bright new white LED there, and that's about really all I did. The decoder is in here, as well as the factory sound for right now, which is this is MRC age for Athearn, so it's a fairly old speaker, but it sounds pretty good. I'm happy with it for right now. It most likely will eventually get upgraded to a scale sound systems. And once again, really nice detail on the back side of the tender. I'm sure a lot of you have in fact seen a million of these tenders in the years that they've been around. As you can see, there's my 9-pin female plug there, and then I had to mount this screw right here in order to connect the two together. Given that this is not a factory Athearn FEF, it didn't want to mount up to the factory soundtracks and Athearn's posts that they have inside the tender. So with that being said, let's go ahead and throw this on the track. Oh yeah, one other thing I'm noticing, it does only have one dyno. I know, I guess it really should have two, but once again, Rivarossi, not too worried about it. All right, so I finally, it took forever, but it took me a while to get this here. I told you guys I would get one, and I did, and I finally got myself a scale. Let's go ahead and power it up. So one thing I really wanted to test is the weight difference between the two tenders, as well as show obviously the weight of the engine and the tender together. So this is a factory Rivarossi tender with pretty much all the same guts inside of it. 8.79 ounces. This is the Athearn tender with, a little bit probably added extra weight in there due to, the board and everything being in there. 9.29 ounces. And then just as a reference, let's go ahead and throw the engine on. 21.15 ounces, which that's a nice decent weight. I mean, obviously I don't have a new Athearn or BLI or even an old Athearn to compare it to. Let's go ahead and throw the tender back on, the one that I run. 30.43 ounces. Nice heavy weight. And then let's go ahead and bring it back to factory Rivarossi. 21.94 ounces. So even from the factory, you know, everything's got nice weight. It's just, like I said, these tenders tracked horribly. So now, as I was saying before, let's go ahead and throw this baby back up on the tracks so you guys can see coupler heights and power her up so you can see and hear the sounds, lights that I've put on this from ESU. Alright, so before I turn the layout on, I wanted to test out the coupler heights real quick. So I have my all metal Katy coupler height gauge out, and I guess let's go ahead and hold that. That is like smack dab right on. Oh yeah, this is the Athearn. So let me go ahead, pull this off, and grab the Rivarossi. Take 10 years to get on the layout. And it's pretty much right on as well. The hose is probably hanging down just a little bit, but it is right on. This will eventually be getting changed out to Katy's itself. Now, obviously, yes, this is a dummy, so it really won't work that great, but if you have, you know, a scale trains water tender, for example, in the front, and it doesn't have the copper cut lever there, or whatever you want to call them, it will actually line up pretty straight on. I should probably look into it, but I have a good feeling you could probably change that out to have a real functioning front coupler. Alright, so now that we got the layout all powered up and everything is nice and quiet, since there's no sound tracks on here except for the big boy, which, you know, I've shown that feature before of how to make it so your steam engines don't fire up immediately with Soundtrack Tsunami 2. I'll post that somewhere on the screen. But so basically, you know, it's just like everything else. Like I said, this is run by ESU, a 58429 decoder, a NixTrainz Decoder Buddy, a Soundtrax harness, a boatload of LEDs, and still the factory Athearn speaker. This also has a power pack in it from ESU. In all honesty, it's probably not really needed, given it picks up power from the tender as well as the engine and gives me no issues. So let's go ahead and hit F8 for sound. F0 for the headlight. Dynamos kick up. And the sound file is the FEF-3 sound file, so the sound file already has dual dynamos on it. F5 for the Mars light. F6 for the driver lights as well as the cab light. One other thing I wanted to point out is if you look right back in here, you can kind of see it. There is a bit of a burner flicker. I have that set up the exact same way how Athearn has it set up on the big boy. Some people say it's not prototypical. I say it looks awesome, so I'm doing it. Also on F6, might be able to see it here. I'll put the red light in. I'll show more once I show the backside of the tender. I do have the driver lights here on the other side, inspection lights, and then after doing a bunch of photo looking and everything, whatever you really want to call it, there's also two back under here that are technically for the steps there. So we got F1 for bell, F2 for whistle, F3 coupler clank. And set. And release. F4 is coast operation. F7 is blowdown. F9 is heavy operation. F10 is independent brake. So that's a really cool feature. I know TCS has it, and I do believe Soundtracks has it as well. So pretty much as long as the sound is on. So it is also a drive hold. So I can give it a command to move. You can see speed step 26 out of 126. It won't go anywhere. As soon as I release, it starts to move. And as soon as I turn it back on, it comes to a stop. Never changed anything down below. Go ahead and put that into reverse. F12 is dimmer for the headlight, dims it a good bit. F13 is sound fader. That's personally what I like to do. I have it knocked down to 50%. And then there's just a bunch of other whistles and sound effects and everything that ESU, of course, has all the way up to function 30. The nice one I always like to run is F29, which, you know, most people won't be able to run that unless you have an ESU cab control. Nice thing about ESU can always be remapped, but that, if you heard it before, it is kind of like the rod plank and like the rails grinding and everything. I absolutely love that sound. So, all right, let's see here. I guess let's go ahead and, I mean, you've already seen it move, yes. But let's go ahead and test out Rivarossi's Speed Step 1. This is factory motor. Speed Step 2. Three, 4, and 5. Let's go ahead and do reverse real quick. Speed step 1. Two, 3, 4, and 5. So ESU's whistle is a little weird with how they have these set up. It is a bit of an older sound file, so I'm working on creating a custom sound file for its whistle. So that should just about do it for that. Let's go ahead and turn the lights out a little bit so you can see the lights a little bit better. So, all right, now with the lights off, my camera is going to be stupid and not know where to focus. Let's see if I can get the focus better. All right, so now with the lights off, except for one light, that way you guys can still see a little bit of the engine. You can really see that Mars light flash now, as well as the headlight. I know these look really bright on the camera. Trust me, they're not. They are resisted with whatever they have on the Decoder Buddy, whatever Nick put on there. But I also have the brightness turned down. Let's go ahead and turn the volume down a little bit. In all honesty, when you're in person, they look absolutely fantastic. You can really see that burner flicker now back there. You can also actually tell that the cab is lit, as well as the lights back here, you can actually tell. And then if you look at the back side of the tender, you can really see that red glow now. That's a bit bright. I should probably turn that brightness down a little bit. Let's go ahead and pull it forward so you can see run by. Go ahead and stop here at the cab. So there you can see I painted the walls green. Once again, you know, this is all from looking at photos and videos and everything of the actual engine. Let's see. Now there are no seats, no cab figurines or anything. But I completely painted absolutely everything in there, pretty much according to how it should actually look. I also added the 844 logo there on the floor. If any of you guys have an oil top to a tender you guys aren't using anymore, please let me know. I would happily get the oil top for the Athearn tenders. And then there is the rear light, also very bright, as well as the red light on top. Also not as bright in person as it is on camera. Let's go ahead and back her up. All right, let's go ahead and get some freight cars out. See, I can do a quick run by. Alright guys, well that'll be just about it for this video. I hope you like what you saw. Again, you know, this is a very budget friendly build here. Now granted, yes, the ESU decoder isn't exactly cheap, but you know, it's no soundtracks, or let's face it, thanks to the world we live in right now, the pricing of TCS. I think last time I saw TCS decoders were going for about $150 with the Keep Alive. And this is still about 80 bucks, and then, you know, add another 10 bucks for the Decoder Buddy. But this could easily be done with a 58420 8-pin decoder, which, you know, at that point in time, you could almost just put that up there in the cab. Or not the cab, I'm sorry. You could almost just put that up there in the boiler. I personally would recommend just putting a micro decoder up in there, though. If you're going to use a micro, just make sure the motor is in good shape. So that'll be it for this video. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If this is your first time coming to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and maybe that bell icon. That way you're notified every time that I post. And go ahead and leave me a comment. You know, I will take any comments, positive or negative. Just keep it clean, please. If not, it will be removed. I try to respond to everything as quickly as I can. So have yourselves a great day or a great night whenever you're watching this.